success often comes with exhaustion. Valerie Pedigo. She went from being a high achieving woman on the brink of burnout to creating a life and business dedicated to helping others and find their way back to vitality, alignment, and purpose. Founder of Renewed Spirit Adventures, Valerie informs, proving that healing isn't about doing more, it's about coming home to yourself. So, welcome, Valerie. I'm honored to have you on my show.
Oh, thank you so much. I'm honored as well. I want to thank you for the work that you're doing. And I love the soul level conversations that you're having.
Valerie, burnout is such a buzzword now, but for you, it was deeply personal. What were the earliest signs you were burning out?
Well, for me, the wake up call came from physical signs. So I knew that I was starting to get frustrated more easily. And I was very critical of myself and of others. But I just thought, this is stress. I do have a very, very active life. I had a corporate career, ran two small businesses, four children, involved in my community. So I just kept going. But where the burnout really hit me was in 2021, where I was in a situation where I could not walk.
Mm.
So I played collegiate basketball and I was injured at that time. I was also in a car accident about 10 years ago. And so the back pain and the neck and shoulder pain that I had always carried with me for many, many years, I thought it was just natural and par for the course. But then around that time, I was having a hard time with inflammation, and it was more than just my old injuries. So it came in the form of back pain to the point where I was not able to walk. And then my body was producing so much sugar, even though I was not eating any sugar, no processed sugar. It was like my inflammation was super high. My cortisol levels were very, very high all the time. So in constant fight or flight mode.
I think this will really inspire others to cope up with their problems too. And was there a single moment that made you say, I can't keep going like this?
Yeah, the first moment, there was a couple, but the first moment where I was like, there's no way that I should be living like this was I was crawling up the stairs of my house to get one to one room from another. I was working from home and the pain was so bad, but I got a call from work and I still answered that call, laying on the floor, not able to move. Because for me, the responsibility and the obligations that I felt and the worry that I felt about not being perfect, not responding, letting people down, all the pressures mounted in that one moment. And I didn't know it at the time, but looking back, especially now with how beautiful my life is, and don't get me wrong, I've had so many things, so many wonderful things happen in my life. This burnout does not define me, but that was a moment where I look back and say, there is nothing more important than my health, than my authenticity, than what I think about myself over what others think or what society expects of me. And so it was a split second decision to answer that phone, but I know where it came from. And after that moment, reflecting on it over the next few days after that, I thought, this is not how life is supposed to be. And I want more from my life.
Yes, that moment of honesty with yourself is something many avoid, but yet is, I think it's often the very start of real healing.
Yes.
What is the biggest misconception about healing from it?
The biggest misconception is that taking a break, while that is a part of it, is all that's needed. I think, like you said, burnout is a buzzword right now. And I don't love that because we want to be mindful. We kind of have a tale of two cities, especially amongst women. Either burnout is used so frequently, or more of the case, there is a hesitancy to acknowledge that the burnout is real and that we're struggling because we have been conditioned to say that getting help is a weakness.
Yes.
And there's a lot of misconceptions when it comes from healing. But I think the biggest one is that it's just going to take a little bit of rest. It's just going to take maybe a bubble bath, a face mask, a massage, which are all great things, but it's more than that. I believe, and at Renewed Spirit Adventures, we believe that burnout comes from a disconnection from your authentic self. That over your lifetime, you start to add layers and layers upon the original soul that was brought to this earth. And as those layers get added, there's more and more expectations, there's more and more pain, there's more shame, there's more guilt, there's more learning too. So again, it's not all negative, right? But it forms you. And sometimes you can get so far away from your authenticity. And so reconnecting with your authentic self, reconnecting with nature, reconnecting with your goals, your dreams, reconnecting with relationships and community, that's all a part of the healing process.
Yes. Like, can rest be ever be the enough without deeper inner work?
No. And I I want to make sure that I'm being very clear. Rest is important. Rest can be defined in lots of different ways. A lot of times we think about, oh, this is sleeping in more, right? Or relaxing a little bit or going to the beach. But rest is more than just physical rest. We also need mental rest. We need societal rest. We need rest from devices, technology rest, right? There's all different kinds of things, but deep transformation comes from reflection, and it should not be done alone.
Yes.
When I was going through my clinical burnout, I put together a team from Eastern and Western modalities, and that's what I'll just call them for lack of better words. Medical doctors, psychiatrists, psychologists, and I realize I say this all with privilege, and I can share some of the ways that there's accessibility to these services. But I put together um, medical doctors, and then also I spent a significant amount of time leveraging spirituality and the gifts that we find from that have originated in the eastern part of our world. And so, just to give you some examples, as I mentioned, medical doctor, psychiatrist, psychologist, functional medicine, where I was able to dig deep into my my eating habits and looking for allergies, because what was happening, Shreya, is on some of these medical tests, it was like nothing was wrong. And I know a lot of your audience can identify with this because it happens. It happens to us, especially women between ages 35 and 55, going through the middle of their lives, going through perimenopause, going through late diagnosed ADHD, empty nesting, life changes and transitions, right? We don't feel like ourselves. We don't feel well. We go to the doctor and nothing is showing up on these medical tests. And so functional medicine is a way to dig even deeper and understand a little bit more. So I found out some allergens that I had. And then I also found someone who I really connected with from an energetics perspective. So I did Reiki, I did massage, I did sound, and I learned a lot about human design, which is something that's very, very a passion of mine. And it was one of the most profound things that I found during my healing journey. But putting together that team and thinking about myself holistically was the key to getting on the right path. And so it's not just rest, it's taking care of your mind, taking care of your body, taking care of your soul and your spirit. And all those things have to come together to get out of it.
Yes, that's an eye-opening. And also you focus on body-based practices and nervous system window. Why is the body such a powerful entry point of healing?
That's a great question. So, especially Americans, especially women, we are in our heads all the time. And many of us are so far disconnected to our bodies that, especially if we're in burnout, and I'll just use my own example again, but I know that it's consistent with a lot of examples because my clients, right? This is my life's work now after going through it myself. But the disconnection from the body, it's like you don't even know how you feel. Someone asks you, "How are you?" We're kind of predispositioned to say, "I'm doing fine," right? But it's not fine, and we don't know how to articulate it and describe it. So I will share with you, my I didn't know how my body felt. I knew that I was in pain. I knew sometimes when I felt happy, and I knew sometimes when I felt sad and frustrated. And sad and frustrated was usually the emotions that I was feeling. And so the body is meant to heal itself. The body can be empowered. The body is so strong and it talks to us. It gives us signs. It gives us signals. It tells us. The issue is when we're in burnout or we're in stress or we're going through major life changes, the noise in our brain is so loud that we can't hear and feel what our body is saying. And so, parasympathetic, which is your rest and restore mode, which is where you can have nervous system regulation, is the first step that we do when we're working with our sisters. That's who we call our clients. We call them sisters, to get to a more neutral ground. Because when we lower that noise, we're able to start to hear what our body's saying. And to your question, in summary, our body tells us exactly what it needs. We have to be able to listen.
Yes, I love that. It's like a reminder that small physical shifts can create massive emotional and mental change.
Yes.
And also, you have built the Renewed Spirit Sisterhood. What role does community play in moving from burnout?
Community is so important. There's a lot of different aspects that I'll talk about, but our Renewed Spirit Sisterhood is a beautiful online community, an accessible online community that we launched on July 1st. And as a part of it, depending on, there's two different memberships. One is called the Awakened membership, which is $39 a month, and then the Enlightened membership, which is $99 a month. Both of them include their own individual portals where there are resources, worksheets, journal prompts, all kinds of information about burnout, rituals, aligned living resources, manifestation resources. And then with our enlightened sisters, we also have trauma informed custom one on one coaching once per month, and then some other additional benefits. Then everyone is in this community chat. And Shreya, I'll tell you, online communities can go either way, right?
Hmm.
And the members need to be active to get the most out of it. But we are asking each other questions, we're sharing with each other. The whole point of community while you're healing is so that you do not feel alone.
Yeah.
And when I have sisterhood circles during our retreats and our experiences, I always start the sharing and very vulnerably tell my story because I feel like that opens up and brings the walls down a little bit. Because as women, again, like I mentioned before, we are conditioned to walk it off, shake it off, cry behind closed doors. Don't tell anyone about your problems because that's negative and you need to be positive, right? All that stuff. And I'll use an example. So 2 weekends ago, we had a retreat called Mindful Movement. It was a beautiful, beautiful experience. And we always open up with intention setting and our welcome circle. And I had let off sharing a little bit more about my life story. And everyone on retreat with us knows and has pre retreat coaching and conversation because everything we do is custom. But I'll share with you, I had opened up about my journey. And then the next sister that followed opened up with her journey. And then the sister across the fire circle, right, the sisterhood circle was saying, that happened to me too. I'm going to go next. Let me tell you about what's going on in my life. And it's like you could just see the shift. We were crying, we were laughing, but it's like everybody comes to these experiences feeling a little bit alone,
Hmm.
right? Because we we want to be strong. We need to move about our day to day. Listen, this is a really practical thing. Like, we have to move about our day-to-day life,
Hmm.
right? We have to do the things that we need to do. And so we might not be able to spend so much time talking about it, but I think more is the fear. If I say that I'm not fine, what will they think of me? And in this sisterhood circle, and all of them, you can just see the shift where the shoulders come down, right? The the empathy for each other is there, the connection is there, and then it's built over time as well, and then continued as we continue the journey into the sisterhood and through post-retreat conversations and activities. But connection, knowing that you're not alone, knowing that it's okay to acknowledge that you're in pain, to acknowledge that things have happened to you throughout your life, or maybe decisions that you've made, whatever the situation is, but you have experienced things that have got you to this point, and a lot of other women have too. And we can come together and we can celebrate each other, we can empower each other, we can listen to each other, and we can help each other through it. So I would say the most important part of healing is the community.
Yeah. Yes, it's so true. I also believe healing in community often accelerates what we can do alone. And if after this my listeners want to connect with you, then what's the best way?
The best way is to go to our website, renewedspiritadventures.com, and there's a Let's Connect form. Fill out that Let's Connect form, and we will schedule time to talk. And so, anyone that reaches out to us, no matter how big our business gets, to me, the most important thing is the custom part of it. So, for your listeners, go online, renewedspiritadventures.com. Follow us on social media. We're on Instagram at Renewed Spirit Adventures. We're on Facebook. We're on LinkedIn. And connect with us. We will set time up together, a 30-minute consultation, conversation, and help you understand what are the next steps. So what's the first thing? Or if you're already in your healing journey, what's the next most impactful thing that you can do to continue through to your most authentic self?
Yes, then I will make sure to attach all the details and links below so that the listeners can find them easily and get in touch with you and know more from you because you're an amazing person and thank you for joining us. I'm really honored. Journey reminds us that burnout doesn't have to be the end. It can be the turning point. If you have been pushing, performing, and pouring out until you are empty, maybe it's time to refill your own well and rewrite your story. Your breakthrough could be closer than you think. All it takes is that first courageous step toward yourself.